Hi guys, hope you're doing well. I'm going to do a video today on my initial thoughts on my Z900RS yellowball. It sounds like an illness, doesn't it? Oh, I've got a bad touch of the yellowball. Anyway, I've only done 150 miles on it and I've only had it a week. But I think it's a good time to give you an initial my initial thoughts on things that maybe don't pick up on a test ride, and you know, you might need to know. And these thoughts that I've got and the experiences that I've had on this bike, the negative ones, are all over YouTube. And I mean all over YouTube. I think every review I've watched, there is a mention of one of these things. So, and this hasn't taken away my love for the bike. I still say that this is the most fun I've ever had on two wheels. It is incredible, bar the classic 350. It is incredible. And it is a naughty boy bike, as the all-year motorcyclist would say. And I definitely have a naughty boy living inside of me. And he has popped his head out more than once when I've been on this bike. But that's all part of the fun. And I live in an area now that you can have fun on this bike. And I am really enjoying it. But there are a couple of things, or three things, that I want to change, or maybe or maybe not. But I'm going to make you aware of them anyway. I took a little ride out to my favourite little village near us this morning. It's where I've been going regularly. It's about 7 miles from me. And I park the bike up. Always someone comes over and talks about the bike. And a lot of people have said, oh, it reminds me of the Z1 of the 70s. And I love all that. I really do. It really makes me smile. So today, as I was walking out the baker's, my favourite shop in I heard this female voice shouting, saying, excuse me, and I turned around and there's this heavily pregnant woman running towards me. My first thought was, uh-oh, I've only been here 2 weeks, how's that happened? And then my next thought was, well, I can definitely outrun her. No, anyway, she came over and she said, oh, you've left your gloves. And I said, oh, thank you so much. And she said, oh, I thought you were going to ride off without them. And I thought, well, I would have noticed. But anyway, thank you. And she walked off. And I looked down, I thought, these aren't my gloves. They were women's gloves, for God's sake. Anyway, so I got these gloves and I thought, well, she's still walking down the street. If she turns around, I can't leave them somewhere. She's going to think I'm crazy. I've taken my gloves back, then I'm going to leave them out for someone else to find them again. So I had to wait until she walked around the corner, and then I put them on the bench by the war memorial. What an idiot. I'm such a muppet. You need to check if they're actually your gloves. But anyway, a lot of people come over and talk about the bike, which I love, and it has got that sort of 70s feel without a shadow of a doubt. And I think even more so with the nose cowling on. I know a lot of you don't like it, but one of you guys sent me a link to a film that was in the 70s, and now I can't remember what the film was called. It was an Australian film. It was kind of a cult film, and they were all riding around on Z1s, and they all had bikini fairings on them. It looked so cool. And I mean, that is what this looks like. I love the way it looks with the nose cone on, and it makes a lot of difference when I'm riding at speed, which I sometimes do. Right, let's talk about the three things. And listen, this is just my opinion before anyone says, oh, well, you're just saying that, and it's not the usual, it's just the way you ride it. It's not. This is definitely not the way I ride it. This is quite common across, if you look on the forums, it's a massive thing. So the first point is the throttle snatchness, and I think pretty much every video I've watched, there is a mention of that. And that is definitely an issue. There is no doubt it has a snatchy throttle. However, I did watch one guy, and he said if you can get through it and sort of feather the clutch and learn how the bike runs, you probably won't need to do anything to it, because you'll get used to it and ride accordingly, which I think is a really good point. Because I think from it's only been a week, but for the first time I took it out to now, 150 miles later, I feel that it's much less of an issue than it was a week ago. And obviously you can have the ECU remapped or whatever it is, and decatted, and all sorts of stuff you can do to eradicate that. But it's not an issue enough for me to go down that road yet. If I find in another sort of 1,000 miles that I think, oh, this is really getting on my nerves, then maybe I'll do that. But it is definitely not put me off the bike. I still love that bike as much as I did when I did my last video. It is definitely the most fun I've had on this bike, on a bike ever, which is saying quite a lot. And as the All Year Motorcyclist says, it's a naughty boy bike, and I definitely have a little naughty boy living inside of me, and he's starting to come out quite a lot when I'm on that bike. Which isn't a bad thing. I'm living in an area now that is perfect for being a naughty boy occasionally, and I'm absolutely loving it. So although that is an issue, I said in the last one, it probably, or maybe I said to someone, I can't remember if I said it on the video, that it wasn't as bad as the T120 before I bought that cable. I think it is as bad. Now I've ridden it for 150 miles, I do feel it is as bad. However, as this guy said, I'm going to try and work around it and learn to sort of adapt. And I think I have already, actually. So to me, it's not an issue, and it doesn't take away any of the enjoyment. Second point, and this is going to be really weird, and I'm sure some of you are going to go, well, this isn't even an issue, but it kind of is a little bit, is when you start the bike up from cold, it revs really high. I mean, I thought there was something wrong the first time, but when I've looked online, apparently that's the way it is, and it does rev very high from cold. When you're out and about and you stop for 10 minutes, it's fine. If you restart it, then it's fine. It's when it's cold and it will tick over really high for a few minutes. And again, do you know what? It's not an issue. I just found it a bit weird. And also, if I'm gonna commute to work on the bike and I leave at say 4 in the morning, which I would have to, the noise it makes, because the engine and the exhaust tone is, I mean, it's stunning, and that's one of the things I love about the bike. But to have that at quite high rev at 4 in the morning in a very quiet village, I'm going to be hated very quickly. So I think that's probably the reason why it's an issue for me. But it's definitely there, and it shocked me the first time. I thought, oh, the throttle's stuck. But no, that's how it is, and it obviously settles down after a couple of minutes and it's fine. That's the second point. The third point, and again, this is across the forums, everyone talks about it, are the tyres, the stock tyres that this bike has, which are Dunlops, I think. And I've definitely felt maybe a little bit sketchy sometimes, to the point that if there's one thing I'm going to do on my first service is to have the tyres changed and get, I don't know, another brand that are better than these, because I haven't ridden this in the rain. I'm never going to ride it in the rain, intentionally anyway. And I would feel, yeah, I wouldn't feel very safe riding with these tyres. I just feel that it doesn't inspire confidence. I can't explain it more than that. And again, it's common across the board that people say the same thing, that these Dunlop tyres are no good, and you know, there are a lot better ones out there, which I'm sure there are. But it's definitely worth noting that you probably need to change the tyres, especially if you're going to go out in the wet, I would have said, because those Dunlops are definitely not the ones for that. And that's it, guys. There is nothing else as yet that I have thought, oh, that's not so good. And even the three I said, it's not a major problem. I've still been riding the bike every day and I'm loving every minute of it. But there are definite issues for people, if you're considering buying a Z900, to think about. Let's talk about the plus things, because the plus things on this bike, I could go on and on and on. But I think the first one is the sound. I think I mentioned that a minute ago when I was saying about if I had to leave early, it would be quite loud. The sound of that engine, stock exhaust, I mean, it's incredible. It sounds so good. And in fact, I was riding out yesterday and I tagged on the back of 4 Triumph riders. They were obviously on a ride out, and we ended up stopping at a level crossing, waiting for a train. I love living in the country. Level crossing. I've never been to a level crossing before. How mad is that? I don't think. Anyway, so I pulled up and next to one of the Triumph guys, and he said, I could hear your bike, and I wasn't sure it was. He said, I thought it was a Farblade. So kind of that says it all, really, doesn't it? He said the sound of it was amazing. So, and I agree, when I'm riding along and you open up the throttle, my God, it is addictive. It really is. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and this is really specifically for me because I'm tall, it's got an 835mm seat height, which is quite high compared to most of the Triumph range except for the Scramblers. And I think some people might struggle getting their feet down. I'm obviously 6'4", so I don't have a problem at all, and it gives me lots more room, and it feels like a big bike. It really feels bigger than the T120 Bonneville, definitely. It really does feel like I've got a lot of room, and I'm sitting on a big bike, which I love. I love that. So to me, that's such a massive plus. The next point is the looks of it. My God. Do you know what? I'm going to turn the light on, the spotlight on in here, and I think I've shown it to you before, but the quality of the paint is incredible. And oh, before I talk about that, another really good thing for me are the mirrors. The mirrors, I can see everything behind me, not just half or quarter with a lot of bikes. They are perfect stock mirrors, and I can see everything. I mean, that's unheard of for me. So yeah, that's another point. The paintwork, the fit and finish is, well, let me spin the camera around and I'll show you. The green has got like a little fleck in it, and so is the yellow, and in the sun they absolutely glisten. And I went to Stowmarket the other day, and I was parking the bike up, and a biker walked over to me, and we were talking about the bike, and he said, and it was sunny, he said that the paintwork looks like a custom job. It doesn't look like a factory paint job. And I knew what he meant, because in the sun it looks incredible. There are lots of other little bits on this bike that I think I've said to you before. This side badge, which is the same badge as on the original Z1. I love that. I love the fact that the Kawasaki is the old retro Kawasaki, and it's all in capitals as opposed to lowercase. I think that looks incredible. I love the little ducktail at the back. I think that looks so good. And there's no way, absolutely no way, that I will change this exhaust. I'm not that sort of guy anyway. I don't change exhaust as a rule. But the sound of this is just beautiful. It really, really is. And I will do a video with it running, but not at the moment. When I get out into the lanes, maybe. I love the dials. I think they look so good. And as I said to you, the mirrors are perfect. The wheels. Now, someone offered me a set of gold wheels, and I was interested initially because it was before I got the bike, or I just got the bike, and I thought, well, the reason I didn't get the SE was not only just because it was more expensive, but I didn't like the gold forks, but I did quite like the gold wheels. But since this has arrived, those wheels are like diamond cut, and they just look so good. So I declined the offer. If anyone's interested in some gold wheels, let me know and I'll pass on his details. I love the exhaust. I just think everything about this bike just looks good. I bought a radiator guard, fitted that. I've ordered a fender extender. Is that what they're called? Go at the bottom of the mud guard. And stupidly, I ordered it and didn't think about it. The next day I checked it just to see when it was going to be delivered, and they're delivering it to my old address. So I must have used that company before, and that was the address that it defaulted to, which is a real pain. So hopefully I'll be able to get that. Otherwise I'll have to order another one, which is a bit of a pain. Yeah, it's such a stunning bike in my eyes. I just can't fault the look of it. It just looks beautiful. The seat is so comfortable. Not only is it nice and high, but it's really padded and it's quite wide. Yeah, absolutely love it, guys, in case you're wondering. But there are those few things that obviously you get with every bike, and it's always good to know, isn't it? Forewarned is forearmed. Is that right? Anyway, guys, I've been chatting for 14 minutes. You're probably all gone. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Right, safe, guys.